What's up guys, I'm Yuri and welcome to my channel. Today we are taking a look at the Razer Avalon prototype. The Avalon is pretty much a Razer Viper with 8000 Hz polling rate, so there won't be much b-roll about the mouse, but this video is mostly gonna be about me explaining the 8000 Hz polling rate and its advantages. A massive thanks to the Fiend from Razer for sending me the unit and also for helping me with some technical details. But anyway, let's check out the benefits of 8000 Hz polling rate, then we check out the caveats, and then we are gonna check how did I perform with the Avalon prototype. So 8000 Hz polling rate has two kinds of benefits, visual and precision benefits. Visual benefits are highly dependent on your gear. To notice the visual benefits you need 240 Hz at least and high FPS. Blurbusters has some great research about this. I'm gonna talk about it, but if you want to check out more, the link is in description. So basically here are a couple of images from their website, and here you can see 1000 Hz polling rate at 360 Hz, and you can basically see that it's quite smooth. There are some gaps here and there. But when we take a look at 8000 Hz mouse at 360 Hz, there are a lot less gaps. It's more what's the word? Not sure what the word is, but the response rate is higher, so the mouse refreshes its position more. And here he is saying that with 120 Hz he couldn't really tell the difference, with 240 Hz it's subtle, and with 360 Hz he really easily could notice the difference. The visual benefits are also obviously there in games, and you can see some of those when I'm going through the precision benefits. I can notice a more granular and smoother experience at 8000 Hz polling rate at 240 Hz. There's a lot of information on the Blurbusters forum regarding 8000 Hz polling rate, the link is in description if you're interested. So basically these visual benefits are only there for 240 Hz displays, but the precision is there no matter what your display is. Looking at this picture from Razer press release, the information is quite clear here. So basically this is the distance that we are moving the mouse, and we are doing the movement in 16 milliseconds. With 125 Hz there are only 2 polling reports, so basically the mouse sends this position only twice to the computer. With 500 Hz there are 8, with 1000 there are 16, and this starts looking quite good already. There are quite many reports and there are some gaps there. But then with 8000 Hz there is pretty much no gaps at all, and there are 228 polling reports. So we get more polling reports, which is nice, but what's actually more important here is the time that it takes to get mouse input from these 8000 Hz polling rate mice. As with 1000 Hz we have those 16 polling reports, and that means that we get 1 polling report per 1 millisecond. So your system fetches input data from your mouse every 1 millisecond. Then when we look at 8000 polling rate, we have 128 polling reports in 60 milliseconds, which then means that we get a polling report every 125 microseconds. So with 8000 Hz your system actually fetches input data from the mouse every 225 microseconds. And this means that not only do we get improvements in position-based data, but this will also improve click latency. The number mentioned in the Razer press release for click latency is at 125 microseconds. So basically what this tells us is that with fast movement there is a big difference. But let's take a look at a few in-game examples. This testing has been done by Enumber, and big thanks for him. So let's take a look at an Overwatch in-game footage that has 250 FPS and 125 polling rate. You can't notice much difference as normal speed, but when it's slowed down you can clearly see that there are not that many polling reports. So basically this kind of shot where the target is far away, so it's quite small, and the distance that you move your mouse is quite long, it's pretty hard to hit this shot with 125 Hz, especially if you overshoot. Now here is a picture that clears it up even more. So basically this would be the kind of movement, and this is done fast. There is only 2 polling reports. With 500 Hz there are 8 polling reports. With 1000 there are 16, and with 8000 there are 128. So judging from these, there is a clear precision advantage on 8000 Hz. By the way, he used the Soundquake M1K for testing, not the Razer Avalon prototype. But what kind of aim and games benefit from 8000 Hz polling rate? Well, first off, there are no benefits for any kind of slow and smooth tracking. And sensitivity can also have a big difference here. With low sensitivity, you might not hit the speeds that are required for 8000 Hz polling rate to be useful. But with higher sensitivity and fast flicks, you will definitely see an improvement. These are the benefits that I myself noticed in games like Valorant, for example. When the target is small and the flickshot is fast, there is a benefit. But again, this is very much down to your aiming style. By the way guys, we just hit 1000 subscribers and we are on our way to 2000, so hit that subscribe button if you enjoy the content. All the support is very much appreciated. A big thank you to all of you. Moving on to the caveats. Old generation CPUs might have some FPS issues. I have a 7700K myself and it's quite old already, and there are no issues for me at least. I get pretty much exactly the same frames at Warzone, CSGO, Diabolical and Quake. Then there is sort of a big disadvantage, which is that regulation requires more shielding to the cables, which basically can mean that that these cables are gonna be quite stiff. The cable on the prototype is at least quite stiff, but of course they can make changes to it. I didn't test a custom paracord myself because I don't have additional feet, but I know a guy who did and he said he had no issues with the paracord. So basically it's more business to you guys who sell paracords. The next caveat is that 8000 Hz polling rate is not doable with wireless tech. Today's wireless tech is just not fast enough for this, and even if it was, there would be an issue with battery life. I talked to a few people and they said that the maximum polling rate for wireless mice should be around 2000 Hz. The last caveat is that all the games that you play should have good mouse input implementation. For example, Overwatch did quite a lot of work for this. Before they actually made this change, your polling rate was actually tied to your FPS. If you had a 1000 Hz mouse and you were playing at 250 FPS, your polling rate would be 250. Here are some videos demonstrating it from their website. Basically this is before the implementation was done. And this is when actual 1000 Hz is used. Here you can see the speed of the flick, and it's not exactly fast, so 1000 Hz is more than enough. Sadly, there are still some games that do not have very good mouse input implementation, but from what I've seen, at least Overwatch, Valorant and Diabolical have very good implementation. I'm not quite sure about CSGO, but aim trainers for sure have this issue. So basically if you play an aim trainer with 250 FPS, your polling rate will be locked down to 250. But so how did I actually perform with the mouse? I used the Razer Viper Ultimate in wired mode to compare against the Avalon prototype, but it's still very hard to tell what difference does the 8000 Hz polling rate make, as these mice do have different cables, feet, and even the clicks feels are slightly different. But I did play very well in CSGO and Valorant with the prototype. I was basically popping off in every Valorant match I played. I didn't notice a massive difference in Diabolical, as fast, precise flicks are not that needed in Diabolical. There are some situations when you need to hit that flick rail and the target is quite far away, but not often. Especially not in Duel, what I play the most. There is a small but noticeable difference on 240 Hz. And the higher the monitor refresh rate is, the easier it is to notice the difference. But should you go for an 8000 Hz mouse? So if you can find a mouse that has 8000 Hz polling rate and the shape works for you, then I would say yes. But if the shape doesn't work for you, then don't bother with it. To unlock all of the benefits, you would need a high-end machine and a high refresh rate monitor. Let's also not forget that when 8000 Hz is overkill, you can use 4000 Hz or 2000 Hz. Even with the Avalon prototype, Synapse has those polling steps. I'm gonna continue using the Avalon when I'm not reviewing another mouse. Follow me on Twitter for any updates about the mouse or 8000 Hz polling rate. That's pretty much it for the video. Big thank you for watching it. If you happen to enjoy it, click the like button. And if you enjoy my content, hit that subscribe button and see you in the next one.